Hi, I'm doing a review today of the adventure games The Volcanic Island by Cosmos, which is a very well-known German game company. The actual inventors or game designers for this are both from Australia, but this is clearly got translated into German and then got translated back into English. It's for ages 12 and up. You could really play with any number of people. You can do it as a solo. It comes with 4 character counters, but in actuality, you could play with teams on this, and you could play with any number and just decide what you're going to do. It's done in 4 separate, how would one describe it, chapters, I guess. 4 chapters. 3 of the chapters are 45 minutes long. That's 1, 2, and 4. The 3rd chapter is a little bit extra long, and it is supposed to be about 90 minutes. So altogether, you're looking at about a 4-hour engagement. Now, I previously reviewed Adventure Games, The Dungeon, and I said in that one that you probably wanted to modify it, and you probably couldn't. You would probably be able to do it one evening, but wouldn't be able to get people to come back for all 3 chapters of that. I completely feel differently about this one. This one is really the grown-up brother of that previous one, and it comes with a lot of stuff. So as with the previous one, it comes with the instructions, and it tells you exactly what you're going to do each and every turn. This one's a little more complicated too. There's a little bit more that goes with it. The other thing that they said in this one is that there's these hints, these in-game hints, and they actually encourage you to use them. In the previous one, they're like, only look at it if you get stuck. In this one, they're telling you, go ahead and look at the hints. And then within this book are all of the combinations that you can look up. So for example, and I'll just show you here, in this particular scene, which is T, which is all the way towards the end. It's going to be all the way towards the end of the story. But you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit. So it looks like it's a building, and you can explore different things. So this T is a series of buildings, a series of rooms and things you can look at. So you could go to 993, you could go to 996, 995. And what you would do in that case is you would go back to this adventure book and you would look up the particular entry for those things. Now, the other thing that there are in this set is lots and lots and lots and lots of items. There's lots and lots of items. And what can happen is you can combine different items together. So let's say that you had this statue and you had Martin, and you'd put them together. So you'd go 6174. If you thought that some combination of the animal and the statue would lead something, or you could go 7461, and then you would look that up in the book. So that's the way you do a lot of problem solving in this. Anyway, I've gone through the whole thing. This time around I feel completely differently. I think that first of all, the setting is something that most people could relate to. It's an island. There's scientists on the island. There's exploration going on. It's got a little bit of an Indiana Jones feel at times. You saw from that statue how that looked. Additionally, there's a lot of social interactions that are involved in this particular game. It also comes with a ton of counters and items, and so it just feels like there's a lot to this game. So much like Gloomhaven or another game like this is a game that I believe that you could probably play multiple times and try multiple things. Sometimes you don't get it quite right, and by the by, there's two entirely different chapter 4s for the end of the novel. 2 entirely different chapter 4s for the end of the novel. So you could solve it one time and then go all the way back and solve it another. So I would give it 4.5 stars. I'm gonna say 4 stars, but I give it 4.5. I think that this game's kind of come into its own. And by the by, for the price, for less than $15, having something that you could play potentially multiple times, it's I know that I buy a lot of games and we play them once, or honest and truly, if I'm completely candid, they're still sitting on a shelf. I never played them. They sounded cool. I bought them at a game convention or something, and I still haven't played them. This is one that I could see you playing multiple times. And that when they say 12 and up, it's not because there's anything wildly objectionable in this. Now, in the dungeon, there was some little spooky stuff. The most you run into on this is people are tied up or something like that. But yeah, nothing really objectionable. The reason it's, I think, 12 and up is actually accurate is because you need a little bit of real world experience to know how some things might fit together. Like, how do you use oil? Well, how does that work? What's a slot machine? And your average 6 or 8 year old may be not going to understand what that is. This also comes with some online assets. It comes with an app you can download that will read the story to you. So you just put the number in and it reads the story. So very, very cool. It's extremely versatile. And I make the same point with this that I made with the previous one. If you are a game master or a referee or a keeper or whatever you're doing, and you want to use some of these things in your campaign, you've got all these props as well. So, you know what? I take it back, 5 stars, because there's just so many uses to this, not just as the game, but potentially for all kinds of other things. So, way to go. Adventure Games Cosmos, the Volcanic Island, 5 stars. As I was talking it through with the review, I realized, you know what? This actually is something that I highly, highly recommend, especially with the holidays coming up, where you may be spending some time indoors. And as I'm doing this review, COVID is still raging around, so you'll probably be indoors with family and friends. This would be a wonderful way to pass some time for 4 hours, and potentially for even more. So 5 stars.